wake up every day and feel like you're existing, not living. You're trying, but nothing feels clear. You're moving, but you don't know where you're going. And the scariest part is not the pain. It's the feeling that you're lost in life, and you don't know how to find your way back. If this feels personal, don't skip this video, because what you're feeling right now has a purpose. Feeling lost in life does not mean you are broken. It does not mean you failed, and it definitely does not mean Allah has abandoned you. Most people think being lost means something went wrong. But in reality, being lost is often the moment before direction is given. It is the pause before clarity. It is the silence before guidance. Allah does not allow hearts to feel lost without a reason. And if you are feeling this emptiness, this confusion, this restlessness inside your chest, it is not random. It is a signal, a sign that your soul is searching for something deeper than what this world has been offering you. There is a moment in life that almost no one talks about honestly. A moment where you are not completely broken, but you are no longer okay. A moment where you are functioning on the outside, but inside you feel disconnected from yourself, from your direction, from your purpose. That is what being lost really feels like. It is not chaos, it is silence. A quiet confusion that follows you everywhere. You wake up with it, you carry it through the day, and at night when everything slows down, it becomes louder. You ask yourself questions you never used to ask. What am I doing with my life? Why do I feel empty, even though I am trying? Why does it feel like I am moving, but not arriving anywhere? And the hardest part is that you cannot always explain this feeling to anyone. Because from the outside, your life may look normal. You may be studying, working, smiling, laughing, showing up, but inside something feels off. Like your soul is out of alignment. And this is where many people make a mistake. They think this feeling means something has gone wrong. They think being lost means failure. They think confusion means weakness. But in reality, this feeling often appears when Allah is about to shift your direction. Because clarity does not always come before change. Sometimes confusion comes first. Allah does not guide hearts that are comfortable in the wrong place. If you were fully satisfied with a life that was pulling you away from Him, you would never search for something deeper. If everything made sense, you would never pause. If every door stayed open, you would never question which one you were walking through. So Allah allows uncertainty. He allows plans to feel unstable. He allows questions to rise, not to punish you, but to wake you up. Feeling lost is often the soul realizing that what it has been chasing is no longer enough. That the goals you once thought would complete you feel empty now. That the path you are walking no longer feels right. And this realization is painful because it forces honesty. It forces you to admit that maybe the life you were building was not aligned with the heart Allah gave you. This is why being lost hurts, because it strips away illusions. It removes distractions. It exposes the gap between where you are and where you were meant to be. And Allah uses this gap to call you back. You see, Allah does not always guide by giving answers. Sometimes He guides by removing certainty. Sometimes He takes away the confidence you had in your own plans, so you learn to rely on Him. Sometimes He lets you feel unsure, so you stop walking blindly. Because a heart that thinks it already knows the way rarely asks for guidance. But a heart that feels lost becomes soft, humble, open. And that is the kind of heart Allah guides. Think about this. How many times in your life did you truly turn to Allah when everything was going smoothly? When life felt predictable, when plans were working. Most people only look up when the ground beneath them feels unstable. And Allah knows this about the human heart. So He allows moments where life no longer feels solid, where your confidence in the world weakens, so your dependence on Him can grow. This does not mean you are being pushed away. It means you are being drawn closer. And the feeling of being lost often appears right before transformation. Old dreams, old attachments. Sometimes Allah is not preparing you for a new destination. He is preparing you to become a different person. And you cannot become that person while holding on to everything from your past. You cannot move forward while clinging to what is no longer meant for you. You cannot receive clarity while resisting change. So Allah allows confusion to sit with you. Long enough for you to question. Long enough for you to reflect. long enough for you to detach. Not because He wants you to suffer, but because He wants you to grow. And here is something important. Being lost does not mean you are far from Allah. Sometimes it means you are closer than you have ever been, because you are finally listening, finally feeling, finally searching for meaning beyond surface level living. This phase is not wasted time. It is shaping your character. It is strengthening your patience. It is teaching you humility. It is training your heart to seek guidance instead of control. And one day, when clarity finally comes, you will realize something powerful. That this confusion was not the enemy. It was the teacher. It slowed you down so you could realign. It broke your routine so you could rebuild intentionally. It unsettled your heart so it could find rest in the right place. So if you are feeling lost right now, do not rush to escape it. Do not numb it. Do not distract yourself from it. Sit with it. Reflect. Return to Allah with honesty, not perfection. Because sometimes being lost is not the end of the journey. It is the moment the journey truly begins. Being lost in life is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It is often a sign that Allah is paying attention to you in a way you cannot yet understand. If Allah truly left you, He would let you walk comfortably in the wrong direction, without resistance, without questions, without discomfort. But the fact that your heart feels unsettled, the fact that you cannot enjoy things the way you used to, the fact that something inside you keeps whispering that there must be more than this, all of that is evidence that Allah is interrupting a path that was never meant to be permanent. Sometimes Allah does not stop you with loud warnings or obvious signs. Sometimes He stops you by making your heart restless, by removing peace from things that once felt right, by creating an inner tension that forces you to pause and reflect. And this restlessness is not cruelty, it is mercy. Because a heart that feels lost is a heart that is still alive, still aware, still capable of turning back. Allah shakes your sense of direction not to break you, but to prevent you from settling somewhere your soul would slowly die. And this is why feeling lost hurts so deeply, because it is the moment illusions fall apart and truth begins to surface. What you are feeling right now is not distance from Allah. It is Allah calling you to realign, to stop relying on your own limited vision, and to finally ask Him to guide you not just to success, but to what is right for your akira and your heart. One of the reasons you feel lost, even after praying, even after hoping and making dua, is because your heart has been chasing things that were never meant to complete it, things that can never satisfy the deepest parts of your soul. You may be pursuing success, recognition, money, relationships, or approval, and even if you achieve them, the emptiness does not go away. You may have thought that reaching a certain milestone, getting that promotion, finding that person, or earning the admiration of others would finally make you feel content. But it does not. That restlessness you feel, that subtle dissatisfaction that creeps in even during your happiest moments, is not a flaw. It is a signal from Allah, a reminder that your heart was created for something far greater than what the world can offer. The material, the temporary, the fleeting, these things can only distract your soul. They can only fill your hands while leaving your heart empty. And the more you chase them, the more you feel lost. Because the soul recognizes what it truly needs: connection, purpose, guidance, and peace with Allah. This is why the heart becomes restless when it is attached to what cannot fulfill it. Why achievements can feel hollow. Why victories can feel empty. And why, despite having so much, you can feel as if you have nothing. Allah allows you to feel this emptiness, this longing, not to punish you, but to remind you that fulfillment lies in turning inward, in seeking Him, in nurturing the relationship that satisfies the heart entirely. He allows the world to leave you wanting so that you finally understand. No amount of worldly gain, no amount of external comfort, no amount of praise or validation can replace the peace and contentment that comes from being aligned with Allah, from being in a state where your heart trusts Him, relies on Him, and finds its purpose in Him. Your restlessness, your feeling of being lost, your yearning for more, this is not a failure. It is a sign, a guidepost, a divine whisper telling you that your heart has been asking for the wrong things, and that it is time to stop chasing what cannot satisfy and start turning what alone can. One who placed the longing there in the first place. Another reason you feel lost in life, another reason your heart feels heavy and your mind feels foggy, is because Allah is teaching you a lesson that cannot be taught any other way. The lesson of dependence, the lesson of humility, the lesson of surrender. When nothing seems clear, when every option looks uncertain, when your plans crumble or your vision blurs, it is not chaos, it is guidance. Allah is intentionally creating a space where you cannot rely solely on your own understanding, where you cannot navigate purely through your own strength, where you are forced to turn inward and upward, to recognize that true guidance comes from Him and Him alone. Confusion, uncertainty, and feeling lost are not signs of failure, they are signs of preparation. They are moments when Allah is softening your heart, opening your awareness, and teaching you that control is not yours, clarity is not yours, and that the most powerful thing you can do in life is to place your trust fully in Him. In these moments, you learn patience without comfort, you learn reliance without certainty, and you learn to listen to the whispers of your soul instead of the loud distractions of the world. Every time you feel unsure, every time you feel stuck, every time life seems to be pulling the rug out from under you, it is an invitation to surrender, to let go of your illusion of control, and to remember that the one who created you knows the path better than you ever could. This confusion is not a punishment, it is a profound opportunity, an opportunity to strengthen your heart, to sharpen your awareness, to prepare for the guidance that will come when you are ready, and to finally realize that the feeling of being lost is not a void, but a space where Allah is shaping you, protecting you, and teaching you to rely on Him in every way, so that when clarity finally comes, it will be received not with hesitation or fear, but with trust, gratitude, and a heart capable of appreciating the wisdom behind every twist, every delay, and every unanswered question that once made you feel lost. Sometimes, when life feels unclear, when doors stay closed, when the answers you are begging for seem delayed, it is easy to think that Allah is keeping blessings from you or that He has forgotten you. But the truth is far deeper and far more beautiful than that. What feels like delay is often preparation. What feels like stagnation is often internal growth. And what feels like confusion is often character being built quietly and steadily, away from the world's eyes. Allah does not measure time the way we do, and He does not deliver guidance or success according to our impatience or our calendar. He shapes you first, molds your patience, strengthens your resilience, refines your heart, and aligns your intentions before giving you what you have asked for. Every moment of waiting, every tear shed in silence, every pang of frustration, every sleepless night, every unanswered question, they are all quietly shaping you into a version of yourself capable of handling the blessing you seek without losing your faith, your humility, or your integrity. What may feel like loss now is actually a gain of perspective. What may feel like emptiness now is actually expansion of heart. And what may feel like failure now is actually the building of strength, trust, and discipline that will carry you through not just one answered you are, but the many trials and victories that life will place in your path. Allah delays not to punish but to perfect, not to discourage but to prepare, not to confuse but to align. And the person you are becoming in this process is far more important than the gift you are waiting for. Because the heart that is ready will receive the blessing fully, without distraction, without despair, without arrogance, and with a gratitude so deep that it transforms every moment of waiting into worship and every moment of struggle into growth. So if you feel like nothing is moving, remember this: Allah is quietly shaping you in ways you cannot see. And the pause you are experiencing is not emptiness. It is preparation, it is refinement, and it is a divine investment in the version of you who is about to receive what you prayed for. When you feel lost, when the path ahead is unclear, and when your heart aches from uncertainty, it is not a time to panic or despair. It is a moment to pause, reflect, and realign yourself with Allah. Because every feeling of being lost is an invitation to return to the one who knows you better than you know yourself. Do not rush decisions just to escape the discomfort. And do not seek temporary distractions to fill the emptiness. Because true guidance cannot be found in noise. It cannot be found in haste. And it cannot be found by following the world's timeline instead of Allah's wisdom. Instead, take a deep breath and begin with small steps. Renew your connection with Allah, even if your prayers feel heavy and your heart feels weak. Continue to make dua, even when you do not know exactly what to ask for, and even when your past prayers feel unanswered. Because every whisper, every tear, every moment of turning to Him is being recorded and counted as worship. Reflect on your actions, examine your habits, and distance yourself from the things that cloud your heart or divert your attention from what is right. Sometimes the feeling of being lost is caused not by Allah's absence, but by the distractions, attachments, and patterns that have quietly led you away from the guidance He is offering. Embrace the discomfort as a teacher, not an enemy. Let sharpen your patience, strengthen your resolve, and open your heart to humility and trust. Align your actions with your prayers. Make consistent effort in what is good, and seek knowledge, companionship, and environments that remind you of Allah and reinforce your connection to Him. Remember that guidance often does not come as a sudden map with every step clearly marked. It comes as clarity in small moments, as a quiet pull in the right direction, as opportunities that gradually unfold when your heart and actions are ready. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust that every struggle, every pause, and every moment of uncertainty is shaping you into someone capable of receiving not just the answers you asked for, but answers that are best for you, answers that will bring lasting peace, contentment, and closeness to Allah. So when you feel lost, do not give up, do not despair, and do not stop seeking Him. Instead, step forward with sincerity, patience, and effort, and know that even in the fog of confusion, Allah is guiding you toward clarity, and every step you take in His light, no matter how small, is leading you home. So as you sit with the uncertainty, the confusion, and the feeling of being lost, remember this: you are not abandoned, you are not forgotten, and you are not failing. Every tear you have cried in silence, every whispered dua, every moment of doubt, every struggle you endured, all of it has a purpose, and all of it is shaping you into the person Allah intended you to become. Keep turning to Him, even when it feels like the path is unclear, even when answers seem delayed, because every step you take toward Allah, no matter how small, brings you closer to clarity, peace, and fulfillment. Trust His timing, trust His wisdom, and trust that the feeling of being lost is never permanent. It is a sign that your heart is alive, that your soul is searching, and that Allah is preparing you for blessings, guidance, and a life that aligns with His plan for you. One day, when you look back, you will see that nothing in your life was wasted, nothing was meaningless, and nothing was random. The struggles, the delays, and the unanswered questions were all part of the journey that brought you closer to Him, strengthened your heart, and prepared you for the clarity and purpose you are destined to experience. So remain patient, remain sincere, and remain hopeful, because the heart that turns to Allah is never truly lost, and the one who placed the longing in your soul is always closer than you think, listening to every word, every whisper, and every silent plea, ready to guide you, uplift you, and reward you in ways far greater than you can imagine.